You are listening to the Dr.Grande podcast. Another episode begins right now. And another warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another week's podcast. I mean, can you believe that we're coming to the close of October? I just felt like we just started October. I mean, boy, time's going fast, but I appreciate it. Whether you're watching it via YouTube, listening via Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I also always and continue to appreciate the overwhelming support and growth of the podcast. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me begin this week with a slight apology for the audio technical difficulties we had last week. I mean, if you listened to last week's podcast, you might have noticed that the audio was just a little off. And I do apologize for that. And I didn't realize, or I should say, we didn't realize that that was an issue until after we recorded it. And I was like, I like the flow. It was such a good flow. And I would hate to have to redo everything and try to make it as good as it was. And it was just a shame. So hopefully you were able to listen through it all. And hopefully you enjoyed it and appreciated it as much as I would hope you would. But we're back with the normal audio setup. So apologies from that. Please accept my sincere apologies for that. Anyway, sometimes it just shows you that things don't always go according to plan, and sometimes things get a little bit shaky. And I can say I've been dealing with some shaky times right now, and you just gotta roll with it. And I think one of the big things is through uncertainty and kind of like crossroads, you also have to roll with it and deal with it, and you kind of have to be innovative, right, to make things happen. So hopefully your week this week has been going great, and hopefully you have great things coming to you this week. If not, make sure you set up for good things for next week. That's what I would say. Last week we talked about the people you keep and things regarding people that you're around, and I just gotta say that idea, that topic came straight from the crossroad that I was facing and am facing. I think a lot of times people don't realize how much of an effect that other people have in your life, and you get treated like guilty or judged, I should say, for associating with certain people. So the whole takeaway that I hope that you got from that episode was about how, you need people to elevate you, not drop you down. And a lot of times we got people who are bitter and jealous. And I just, at the end of the day, and kind of what I wanted to kind of convey to you, and just some thoughts I was thinking this week was, who the hell cares? And I don't mean that derogatory. I don't mean that as like a shock factor, but I don't know why. But there is this need for approval, right? From other people. We constantly need somebody else's approval. I don't know why. I mean, look at social media, right? You post a picture and you just glue to the phone. You're watching the response and you need that approval. And maybe you have people in your head that you want certain approval for, and when you don't get that approval, things get you down. But the question is, and I want you to think about this question this week, is how much are we doing in our lives and spending our time? Remember, we said time is like the most precious commodity that we have in our life. How much time are we spending trying to seek someone's approval, and why does that approval matter so much? Why do we hold that person's approval, on social media, in such high regard? And a reasonable follow-up question, I think, would be, would we be doing the same thing if we didn't care about the approval? if we weren't seeking that approval from that certain somebody? Would we be doing the same actions, investing the same amount of time? And experience and time has told me that the answer most times, and now there are exceptions to times and stuff like that, might be no. And here's why. I think we depend on people's approval too much to make us feel good about ourselves and what we're doing. I mean, think about it. When you go to buy a car, when you go to buy a phone, when you go to take a selfie, are you doing it for you, or are you doing it so people can approve and say, oh, good job, nice photo, nice car, dude, cool car? Are you doing it for that wow factor? And if you are, let me encourage you to just remind you, if I may, that people's approval doesn't matter. I mean, the only people you should approval that you need are the people in your inner circles, your loved ones, and your family. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're driving a Lamborghini, a Mercedes, a Toyota, a Honda, who the hell cares? What does it matter that what you drive, what you wear? What should be the primary focus and the reason you do something is for yourself. It's that it brings you happiness. It makes you feel good. It allows you to perform at your level, at your ideal performance, and accomplish what you need to get done. Because like I said on the stream, and like I've said it here a few times, is that you perform good, you do great work, you're at your best when you feel good. And until you are at the point where you feel good and you're, first of all, content with who you are, none of the other things should matter. You don't need people's approval to be great. You are great. Accept the fact that you're great. Accept the fact that you have talents. Accept the fact that you are who you are. And accept the fact that you have your challenges too. You have your set of problems too. We all do. So I just kind of want to demystify the myth that you just constantly need people's approval, and stop putting yourself so much out there and depending on people's approval, pat on the back, applauding you to do stuff. Because let me just say, just from experience, because I've been trying to stream and do this for a long time, and we're a relatively small community. We're still growing. I think we're bigger than we actually are, because I see growth, I see potential, I see abundance ahead of me. But when I first started, I had so much criticism, and I still face a fair amount of criticism. When we made our first shirt, in fact, we released on stream, I announced, and on social media, I've been announcing all this week, of our 2-year anniversary shirt. We got it out early this year. And there was a lot of support within the community. But there was a person that I know personally that says, why do you do shirts? You're not famous. And it's amazing to me. Here's the thing that's amazing to me. And this kind of ties into last week's podcast. Is that I get more support. Sometimes it feels like I get more support from people I don't even know, never met, than actually the people who are supposed to care. And I'm not bashing my support group. I'm not saying I don't have support. I do. I have tremendous support. But the thing is that you got to realize that not everyone's going to approve or be on board or be clapping their hands when you go to make a decision. When you are initiating something you want in your life. And that's okay. You got to live with it. You got to be okay and open to the idea that that is a reality. Because now, not everyone's going to agree with everything you're doing. You see, sometimes we get this idea that everybody who's our friends and our family, and just because we're friends and our family, they're supposed to do what we and agree what we're doing 100% of the time. And I'm saying I had that expectation, and I learned that it's not reasonable. And like I've been saying at the beginning of here, it says you got to, when you go to initiate a change in your life, you go to start something, continue something, build something. The first and foremost person that you should do it for is not how many people will approve you and be approve of and supportive of what you're doing, but you got to do it for yourself first. That's why at the beginning, the very first episode, after the introductory episode of the podcast, I talked about you got to put yourself first. You got to be okay with who you are, what you have, what you look like. Because happiness, like I said, comes from the inside. And so many people place their happiness through other people, material, and they just can't fill a hole that's not the right size, shape to fill. And I just think a lot of people rest happiness and approval and their growth based on the amount of support or approval they get. Maybe you're in that moment right now. Maybe you're trying to build something. Everybody's going, you're not going to do it. You can't do it. You're not famous. You're not Ariana Grande. You're not a famous singer. You don't have money. You don't have the right credentials. You work at this kind of a job. You're just an average Joe. You can listen to that if you want to. But what I got to say is that even though it sucks, even though sometimes it hurts that you don't have your friends, your family, the people you support the most don't support you equally, you got to keep moving forward. You got to not lose heart. You got to keep going and pursuing your dream, because at the end of the day, it's your dream. It's your goal. It's your ambition. No one's going to carry that you to the destination. No one's going to do the work and put in the time that is required for you to do it. So what the hell does someone's opinion, opposition, approval, non-approval matter? And furthermore, why would you live your life in a constant, if this person likes, if these people like it, I'm happy. If they don't like it, I'm sad or disappointed, or I'm going to change because Susie doesn't like it, matter anyway? Why put yourself in that position? Shake it off. Let's put you back in the cockpit of your life. Let's give you back control by not caring. And I'm not saying go through life and not care what other people say, criticisms, advice. I'm not don't care about other people and how you affect other people. I'm not saying just be ignorant. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to make a decision, make it and follow through it despite the opposition, who may or may not support it. If you feel and you know it's the right decision, if you feel that this is your time to shine and time to do whatever, to initiate change, to start a stream, podcast, whatever, then do it. But just don't expect that everybody under the sun that you know, all the people on Facebook, it's just going to come running to support you. Because I thought that was the thing. And, I used to have a personal Facebook account. I don't anymore, because I just realized, why am I sharing with my life, posting things about myself that people on there don't really care? They just want to be nosy. And it's not that I'm antisocial. I love talking to people. I prefer face-to-face and in-person interaction than the social media interaction. Call me old school, call me whatever you want. But I think that's 10 times better. And you know, it's easy to get bitter sometimes because you see someone launch their own, like, whatever. I'm a real estate agent now, or I'm selling t-shirts now, or I'm doing beauty makeup now. And you just see like the floodgates open and everybody who's on their friends list supporting, thumbs up, everything like that. And then you go, why can't I get support? You fall into the trap of comparison, where you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. You're doubting yourself because you're not getting the same result someone else is. And you can look anywhere in this world, anywhere in our current culture, and we live for approval and we live to compare. I think females do it the worst. Because they're looking at magazines, they're looking at celebrities, and they're going, oh, I'd look better if I didn't have these freckles on my face. Oh, I'd look better if my hair was cut this way. And they're constantly changing and chasing these styles. So someone can go, hey, you're beautiful, you're good looking. And I'm just going to tell you from a guy's perspective, and I know there's other guys out there, maybe not 100% of the guy's opinion, but I can tell you, ladies, that a guy's, my opinion, and I've talked to a lot of guys who agree with me. I'm not sure my sample size here, but I think a woman is far more attractive if she's confident in her looks versus trying to emulate other people's looks. You get that sense of confidence and you get that sense of feeling good mentality, and you look good because you are good. You own your look. You're not trying to just look at a magazine and copy a new look every day. So if someone is in your doing what you're doing and they're successful, great, good for them. But don't let that deter you from what you're doing. Just because you experience slower growth or a longer time to get going doesn't mean you're not going to get to a destination. Doesn't mean your time won't come. Stay true to who you are. Stay true to your course. Stay true to your daily routine. Be disciplined in getting to the destination, and the results and the support that you need to, and that really matters, will show up. It will develop, I promise you. But if you're just going to constantly change your haircut, your style, based on approval and what someone else is doing, and you're trying to be someone else, you're not going to get there. You got to be who you are. You got to own your own look. You got to own who you are, what you have, what strengths and weaknesses you have. And you got to build on that. So don't allow others to make you doubt yourself. Don't make it feel like if you have long hair and the most successful person that you see right now in public culture has short hair, you have to run out and cut your hair. You guys get that? Because I see it on a constant day-to-day basis. People run out and do things because other people are doing it. They may be uncomfortable with what they're doing, but they're going to do it because somebody else is doing it. But you got to ask yourself the first question. Do I want to do that? is that a look that I'm going to be happy with? Am I doing it for me, or am I doing it just to follow this idea that if I do it, I'll be happy? Someone will approve of me. Someone will give me a like, a thumbs up. So this week, when you're making decisions, when you're going out with friends, and you have to make a decision, take a mental note of how many times you just make a decision because somebody else wants you to do it. Someone's influenced you to do it. Versus the amount of times you do it for yourself. And I want to wager, until you discipline yourself in that you will realize that you tend to make a lot of decisions based on the people who are around you, based on the moment. And you kind of forget about yourself. And trust me, I'm not calling you out, because I'm guilty of that, and I've been guilty of that until I've done this thought experiment that I'm talking to you about. And I'm saying somebody else's playbook of success some strategics may work for you, but it's not your playbook. You're two different people. And you got to realize that. Don't be a copycat. Be who you are, because you already are unique. You're already different, and you gotta placate towards that in your strength. Think about this for a second. When I started streaming, I started looking at other people, and like the first one to catch my eye that really got me, pushed me over the edge, like I want to do this, was Dr. Disrespect. I think he, despite what people may say about him, despite his mannerism that people may or may not agree with, I think he's one of the top-notch streamers in the industry right now. He's dialed in his graphics, his stream, his persona, his gameplay. He's got a lot going for him. And you know, if I decided to just like copy him and be exactly like him, then I'd just be a copycat. I'd just be an impersonator. And you don't want to be an impersonator for anyone. It's okay to take influence from somebody, to take ideas from other places and massage them into your own unique idea. So what I'm saying is, you can take influence, the ones that you want to take, the ones that placate to your strengths, but don't copy somebody. If someone's wearing a Louis Vuitton bracelet or sweater or whatever they make, doesn't mean you have to run out and go buy one. Put yourself first. Make decisions for yourself and branch out from there. That's all I'm saying. Because when you do that, you save time. You're not chasing falsehoods. You're not wasting time. You're not walking in someone else's shoes. You can't do it. You got to walk in your own shoes. So I'm just saying, don't make that mistake. And if people want to applaud and approve what you're doing, that's a bonus. But if they don't, doesn't mean you give up. Doesn't mean you just falter. Doesn't mean you get deterred from your dreams, your ambitions, your goals. Because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to achieve those and make them into realities. But at the end of the day, their opinion, their comment, their criticism, learn from what you can, but at the end of the day, does not matter. Happiness comes from within yourself first. And when you're true to yourself and you're genuine and you do it for yourself, because of yourself and you're in your own style, That's when you get successful. That's when you are operating at your best. So I know social media is fun and all. I enjoy posting some things on social media. I'm not totally 100% against social media. But let it be entertainment, but not a guidebook for you. That's all I'm saying. Don't be so easily influenced and just changing because for no good reason. There's a lot of that. And it's unfortunate that a lot of how much social media, in my view, has effect on day-to-day life. I think we all, even including you, have bigger and better things to do than worry about the social media publicity. That's what I think. But you can also let me know what you think and be part of the conversation. I hope you do. Hope you want to jump in, and I always encourage you to by the email address or going to drgrande.com and click on Contact Doc, and you can give me your thoughts on it. But other than that, you just gotta stay the course. Because if not, you open yourself up to a can of worms, and then you're doing something, and then you're just like, why did I do that? Why did I spend this time and all this energy and money and things for something that didn't really work to my favor? So just do me a favor this week. When you're making out a decision, when you're out with your friends, how much of that decision or those decisions are you making because you actually want to, and how much of those decisions are influenced because other people want you to? Now, it's okay if you want to do it because someone wants you to do it. That's fine. I'm not saying not be antisocial. I'm not saying kill the vibe, be a party pooper, be the stick in the mud. But I make sure when you do something, you're doing it because you want to, not because someone else wants you to. Take ownership and accountability for you're in the driver's seat of your life. You're in control of your life, and no one else is going to sit in that seat but you. Do that and let me know what you think. Let me know what you find. It should surprise you. It surprised me. And then I'll see you again next week for next week's episode. I appreciate you all for taking the time to check out the podcast. Let me know your thoughts. The conversation is always open, whether it's here on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to be part of the conversation. What you want to hear, I'll get guests. If any topics you want to hear, I'll make it happen. Just let me know. But as always, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.